Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Jason Williams, and I'm with my tag team partner, Blake Castetter, and we are the Sunday Funday guys. Blake, we are in the last week of the preseason. We are about, 2 weeks away from opening night on a Thursday, and there's a Friday game. I got really fired up when I saw that Friday game. I said, oh, yeah, Friday game.
4 games or 4 nights in 5 days.
Yeah, a little college football action this weekend. Starting to get those juices flowing, buddy. Starting to get those juices flowing.
You know, I was thinking about it. One episode we did that was kind of fun and more practice from year one was our draft day football essentials.
Oh, yes.
Remember that episode?
I do remember that episode. That's an oldie but a goodie.
We're talking wings, beers, what food do you eat, what beers do you drink, where do you go, how do you do it, what are the essentials?
I feel like that really doesn't change too much. If you've been watching football or tailgating a long time, you're pretty much going to know what you're going to have, whether it be beer, wings, maybe some special meat that you cook on the grill, maybe some jalapeno poppers. I mean, we go on and on and on, but that was a pretty good episode.
So I do have a friend who, when she hosts on Saturday football, she does a theme, and it has to do with wherever the teams that are playing are from.
That's cool.
So if LSU plays, her spread is,
right,
from Louisiana.
Right. We're talking boil, lobster,
Correct.
Boil, some shrimp, maybe some
Old Bay seasoning.
A lot of Old Bay. Got to go with the Old Bay.
That's right. So I was hearing some of the spreads she's done, and I was just fascinated by wow.
Hey, we talked about this last week. We're coming up on episode number 50.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Fanatics, we are at, I believe, episode 49, or 48 or 49. We're close to 50. When we get to 50, we'll definitely have to do a little something different than the norm for that show. But nonetheless, this show, it's all about draft strategies, Blake. Draft strategies. Everybody's drafting at this point, or will be drafting after this weekend, and teams will be set. People are studying. People are looking at projections. People are looking at sleepers. Tell the Fanatics about the show today in terms of what we're going to cover.
Well, it's kind of an exciting show. We're going to touch on the different types of drafts, just real quick to outline some of the different draft styles, some draft strategies, meaning what your approach is going to be, and it's fairly dependent on where you land, and it changes year to year. Then we're going into split backfields. Last year, that was a hot topic and paid dividends for those who picked right. So we're going to touch on a few of the backfields in this episode that we think you should have an eye on in your draft. And we'll wrap it up. And then next week, we're going to start unveiling our rankings.
Yes. And then we also have a new episode called The Late Lates. Let's not forget about that.
Oh, the Late Late segment.
Yeah, the Late Late segment.
I did forget that one.
That's okay. That's why I'm here. I got your back, buddy. Essentially, it's just a segment that talks about, we're talking sleepers. We're talking about deep sleepers. And Blake, describe the Late Lates again.
The easiest way to describe the Late Lates, it's our spin on sleepers. So in true late style fashion, these are those players, those picks on a weekly basis, those waiver wires, those draft picks that you just don't want your buddies to know about, if you know what I mean.
Right.
In true late fashion.
Right. It applies to life as well.
It does.
All right. Well, let's
we'll get to that though. Let's jump off with the different kind of draft types.
Yes.
So, and you correct me if I'm wrong, we don't really have any notes on this one, but you've got snake format.
Yes.
You've got third round reversal.
Correct.
Which is a snake, but then it reverses order after the third round.
Uh-huh.
You've got auction format.
which we've done before. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else am I missing here?
Those are the main ones. There's probably some ancillary ones that we're not thinking of, but
Then you've got combos, you've got
right.
keepers.
Keepers, yeah. You got one keeper, got two keepers, yeah.
Yep, you got keepers with penalties. You've got dynasty.
Dynasty.
So in a dynasty startup, that's going to be a combo of either a snake and auction, but it's the league is a dynasty format. Then you've got there's one more. I just had it on the tip of my tongue.
I don't know what that one is, but
Well, league format, you've got guillotine leagues,
which we're doing right now as we speak.
Mid-draft, slow draft.
Slow roll draft. We'll get there. We'll get there by Friday.
A lot of these auctions or a lot of these draft styles or draft formats are also league formats. So it can be a combination. Same with the different type of draft strategies. So when you're looking at strategy, it's more position based in what your approach is going to be for your draft. So some of the most common then can be paired with themes. So you've got 0 RB running back draft strategy, meaning you don't take a single running back until the earliest 5th round.
Ooh, man.
But at that point, you load up on running backs for like the next 6 rounds. Now, there's a lot of value in that middle round area of running backs. And that's what we're going to partially touch on with our muddy backfields, these dirty backfields. You don't know who the split backfield, who the leader is going to be.
Right.
You've got your hero RB, which is where you take a top RB. And then again, you don't touch running back for a while. These two approaches are somewhat new over the past handful of years, but they change year to year on like which is going to be the popular one. It's usually based on what went well last year. So last year it was very popular to go wide receiver heavy in the earlies. And a lot of people paid for that one because of the lack of success of Tyreek Hill and some of the injuries like Puka Nacua.
Some of the tight ends.
Correct.
Yeah.
There was a top tier tight end approach, meaning you want to make sure you get that top tier tight end because it differentiates you. But after last year and the destruction of the tight end position, I haven't heard anything about top tier tight end this year.
I've already seen it in my draft. Like last year, tight ends went early. Nobody touched them at least for the first solid 3 rounds.
Doesn't surprise me a bit. If anyone's going to touch anybody, I think it's Bowers, but that's still 3rd round.
Right.
You got running back. I mean, that is the old school, tried and true running back heavy up front because there wasn't much depth at the running back position. Now with these split backfields, there is more. So I don't hear as much about running back. Then you can also pair that with late round QB. That's not necessarily a draft strategy, but it is an approach that can be paired with 0 RB, hero RB, RB. I'm a huge believer in a late round QB because I don't think there's that much drop off that warrants taking a 4th round, 3rd round, 5th round QB when you can get one that's just a hair lower in point value on a week-to-week basis in the 10th, 11th, 12th round, and you can load up on skill players.
Agreed. I mean, case in point, Jaden Daniels. Obviously, nobody saw what he was going to do last year, but if you took him, you probably got him in the 9th or 10th round for the most part in most drafts, and there you go. Next thing you know, he's top 5 fantasy quarterback last year, top 5 this year. But that late round QB, I'm on board with that. I don't like to take quarterbacks early if I can avoid it because you look at the stats and especially at the end of the year, you'll see essentially let's say the number 8 and number 12 quarterbacks. There really isn't much difference other than maybe a couple more touchdowns. And if that quarterback is a runner, that quarterback may get more points in terms of running the ball. Yeah.
But if you look at the average points per game played, it might be a 1.5 difference between the number 6 and the number 12 quarterback.
Right.
And how often does 1.5 points make a difference in your league on a weekly basis?
Rare.
Not that much. Not enough to warrant passing up on a 5th round running back, or another running back, another tight end, another wide receiver.
Yep.
One thing we can all agree on, though, if they're still in your league, waiting on kickers and defenses.
Oh my God! Every year, you don't know how much this irks me. And people, the people who do this know who I'm talking about out there. If they're listening to us, listen to me. Listen carefully, folks. Do not, I repeat, do not draft a kicker and defense until you get to the last 2 rounds. For the love of all that is sacred with football, fantasy football, that is, don't do it.
Unless you're in my league, then please take them in 6th, 7th, 8th round. That's cool.
Well, nobody listens to us anyway, so people are going to do it. So
That's
we're
right.
good. Yeah,
We don't know what we're talking about.
Listen, I tell people when they start picking defenses and quarterbacks, hey, that's more treasure for this guy.
Thank you very much.
Yep, much appreciated. All right, Blake, the lates.
The ones you don't want your boys to know about.
We've all had them.
Some of us haven't.
Or they're not telling their buddies.
That's right. So sleeper picks this year going in. And these are kind of deeper sleepers, in my opinion. We're looking at my first one, Trevor Lawrence. Now, it's kind of crazy. I don't know what year he's in, but he's been in the league quite a few years. And to say he's a sleeper, I mean, I can see it because he hasn't performed well over the past handful of years. There's a lot of hype going in, best quarterback ever drafted, yada, yada, yada. He just really hasn't performed, but he's also had kind of a shit hand given to him with different coaches, not having many weapons, etc. But this year he's got Liam Cohen. And if you're not familiar with Liam Cohen, think about the Bucs offensive coordinator and how he helped them to top 4 finishes in points scored and total yards in 2024. Now he's the head coach of the Jaguars. With Cohen, Baker set personal bests last year. Yards, touchdown, completion rate, yards per attempt, and passing touchdown rate. 2 solid receivers and a solid rookie and a good tight end. But if you're still not sold, prior to working with Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence and Mayfield's career numbers were eerily similar. 63 to 61% completion rate, 6.8 to 7.2 yards per attempt, 3.4 to 4.6 touchdown rate, 2.3 to 2.6 interception rate. I mean, the number just keeps going. Passer rating, 85 to 88. Passing success rate, 46 to 44%. I mean, those are extremely similar numbers. But now Trevor Lawrence has his first set of 2 legit wide receivers in Trevor Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. He's never had that before. But don't forget about Trevor Lawrence's ground game. It's kind of sneaky. Up until 2024, he averaged over 17 yards per carry or per game over his career. Up until last year when he averaged 11.9. Currently, he's being drafted as QB 20 if you even get that far in your draft. To me, it seems like an opportunity to steal in a last round and get a possible quarterback that, if things go his way, could be a QB1.
Big if, but you are right. If they do go his way, he has a chance to. I mean, honestly, he's kind of at a crossroads. He's got the big contract. Like, he's been in the league long enough to warrant the second contract already. And he has that. So you've paid him, but you haven't seen really a return on your investment. Now, one can say the team hasn't been good around him. Therefore, how can you tell? Well, to your point, he's got 2 receivers, he's got 2 running backs, and he's got a pretty decent tight end. So with Trevor, this is the year for him. If he's going to show up, this has got to be the year. If not, I would imagine there's going to be some people in Jacksonville wondering, hey, did we really hit a home run with this quarterback, or is he a dud more than a stud?
Are we going to keep on this path, or are we going to go a different direction?
Well, the contract warrants them keeping him at least another couple years, but that's going to be tough to swallow as a fan base, and with all the talent that they're trying to get in Jacksonville. They have it right now on offense.
Atlanta did it.
Yeah,
that contract warranted 3 more years of
that is true
starting play.
That is true. That
So
is
staying in the
true.
quarterback position, I'd see your first sleeper, Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Young. What I think people don't realize. Let me back up a little bit. Yes, he did get benched for Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton. There's always going to be an Andy Dalton reference some way somehow. But yeah, Bryce Young got benched for Andy Dalton last year, and that benching, I believe, catapulted him to the second half of the year that he had. Now, from week 12 on, folks, Bryce Young, yes, Bryce Young was tied for seventh in fantasy points per dropback and second in QB scrambles. Now, the caveat is the defenses he played those last 4 games were not great. We're talking about Arizona, Tampa, Atlanta, and Dallas. But the Panthers averaged 28 points per game over that stretch. Now, compare that to the first 5 games, Blake, where they averaged a measly 8 points a game the first 5 games of 2024. 8. I didn't stutter. With the addition of, we're going to call him T-Mac, because that's what we called him earlier. It could be just a thing to make Bryce Young a top 15 quarterback. He is definitely a late, Blake, for sure.
He's deeper than my QB 20.
Yeah, QB 23.
I know.
Here. Yeah, we're going to see.
Improved offensive line. He started to put things together last year. They gave him a legit wide receiver 1 in the draft. If everything comes together,
right.
I mean, that's a lot of value there. You could be taking a last round quarterback and QB 15, QB 12. That's not far from a QB 1.
Right. And let's not forget, again, we've talked about it a lot already. That division warrants a lot of points being scored. So if he's going to have a year, he's in the perfect division to do that.
Yep. I like Bryce Young. He's ranked just ahead of your Michael Penix.
Yeah.
At 26.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to, after what I saw early on, I was not sold on him. And I was like, I don't think he's going to make it. But to his credit, he took the benching well and really improved on a lot of things. And you could definitely see the confidence growing those last 4 games.
Look good. The offense, I mean, they were competitive.
Well, yeah. Lost some close games, but high scoring games. Really high scoring games.
Because the defense.
Yeah.
We know all about that.
Exactly.
All right, moving on. Staying in the AFC North, heading to the AFC North. My second late pick, wild as it sounds, is the starting running back for the Cleveland Browns. What do you know? I was big on Jerome Ford last year, and he did well in the beginning of the season. Wasn't a huge player throughout the entire season, but did have a fairly good season, especially considering what draft capital he commanded in fantasy purposes. Last year, he averaged 5.4 yards per carry compared to the other Browns running backs that averaged 3.4. Now, that's not saying much. Chubb was coming off an injury, and the other players were just backups. But he was 5th in rush yards over expected per attempt. He was 5th in yards per contact per attempt, after contact per attempt. And he was 15th overall in rushing grade based on PFF's rating system. So in reality, it's not that bad of a season. Going into 2025, the Browns drafted 2 running backs and they released Nick Chubb. But both Judkins and Sampson have had off-field issues. And we don't know what their status is. Jerome Ford in a contract year. What if Judkins doesn't end up signing? And Sampson's there, but what if Sampson has a slow start? He's a rookie running back. I mean, they're going to give Ford the lion's share up front. He has the opportunity to take over the backfield and own the backfield. Currently, he's being drafted at RB 50. And if he holds true and retains the backfield, he's in line for 250 or more touches this year.
Yeah. With Cleveland's situation at quarterback, and I know they're starting Flacco, but you would think Stefanski is going to want to run the ball. And I'm not sure, again, with the status of the 2 rookies, who can you trust? I mean, he's a head coach. He's under fire a little bit. He has to win. So are you going to trust rookies in your backfield? Or are you going to trust a veteran? I mean, Jerome Ford has proven that he can do it. And he can do it at a consistent basis. He's just never had really a chance with Chubb. I think this year is going to be the year of Jerome Ford. I think you're a year early, Blake, but I think this year, with the way the Cleveland Browns are set up in terms of having a lot of young guys in the skill position, potentially other than Flacco, I think it warrants Jerome Ford to get a lot of touches, at least early on, until maybe these rookies get to the point where they're comfortable in the offense. I can see Jerome Ford being a nice flex for a lot of the weeks that you may have a bye or even maybe an RB2, contingent on the situation. I mean, Cleveland's offensive line was not very good last year. And if that line gets somewhat better, then it becomes a legitimate low-end starter at an RB2.
Mm-hmm. And you can get him as an RB5 based on ADP.
Great value. Great value.
We'll see how it pans out, but
Yeah.
I believe we're good there. So staying with running backs, you've got RB52, Jaden Blue.
Right. I was kind of looking at the rankings and I saw a couple of guys that I wanted to maybe put on here, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with Jaden Blue. Now, you may be asking, who is Jaden Blue? He's a rookie from Texas, and he could be that late running back that can lead you to a potential championship down the line. I know you're like, who is this guy? Well, right now he's behind Javonte Williams and Mike Sanders, two running backs with a lot of tread on their tires, Blake. We know they've been through the gambit. I think we've seen them at their best. I think they're on in terms of their prime, I think they're on their way down. Again, Blue is a running back from Texas. You know, Jerry Jones, Mr. Jones, loves those Texas guys. He's got the size and the speed. He ran the second fastest 40-yard dash at the combine in 4.38. And he has the highest single season receiving touchdown total of any running back in this year's class. So he's fast and he can catch the ball. Two things we know that the Dallas Cowboys like: speed and guys that can catch the ball in the backfield. Yes, right now, long shot to get a lot of playing time. Hasn't played much of preseason, but folks, injuries happen, especially the running backs. Keep an eye on Mr. Blue. Think of a poor man's Bijan Robinson.
I can appreciate that. And especially, I really like the nickname that you gave Miles Sanders. And now you've pinned him Mike Sanders. Ever since he left Philly, he doesn't deserve the name Miles Sanders anymore. It's Mike Sanders.
Mike. My bad, Miles.
Little slip up, but from now on, he's Mike Sanders.
I like it. But no, I think, this is, again, we're talking deep sleepers. And he is definitely one of those guys that I can see maybe week 4 or 5. Sanders, Williams get nicked up. This guy comes in and, lights the world on fire with his size and speed. I mean, he's in the offense that's going to be predicated on the quarterback and the two receivers and the tight end. So nobody's really going to, and I don't know, the one thing about Dallas, they used to have a great offensive line, really tailed off with the retirement of a lot of those guys they drafted in the early rounds several years ago. We don't know how the line is going to be. And if they're anywhere close to being decent, this guy's got a chance to make some noise. And I don't think it'll happen immediately, but again, maybe sometime in the near future in terms of maybe the first half of the year, don't see it. But the second half of the year, possibility.
So a great stash for keepers in dynasty formats, especially.
Oh yeah, in dynasty, I would doing a dynasty league. I would draft this guy with a heartbeat. Probably wouldn't draft him in the first round, but in most of my dynasty leagues, we've had 3 rounds, and we had a rookie draft.
So you're talking about not a startup, but the rookie portion.
Yeah. The rookie
what about
portion.
Startup? Where does he go?
That's a great question. I don't think he goes too high.
No.
But I think there's some value there, later.
He's probably 14th and beyond.
Yeah. And when I mean later, that's what I'm talking about. Later rounds. I mean, later picks. You're not going to spend draft capital on this guy because you don't really know a lot about him. But again, if he has any opportunity to play, I think he'll take full advantage of it. And again, the 4.38 you can't ignore, and the hands you can't ignore.
Well, plus the people in front of him. Miles Sanders hasn't been productive for years.
Mm-hmm.
And Javonte Williams can't stay healthy.
Correct.
There's a path.
Oh, an easy path. Yeah, man. Yeah.
So staying with running backs, My next sleeper pick, my late number 3, I'm going to stay with Chicago. So previous episode, I talked about the Ben Johnson effect. I talked about DeAndre Swift and how he's a league winner. Now I'm going to go to the other side of the backfield in Roschon Johnson. So Ben Johnson, as I mentioned, has been known to deploy a committee backfield. Reference Gibbs and Monty, right? The Lions rushed or finished top 2 in running back goal line carries and touchdowns in all 3 years that Ben Johnson was running the offense. And the Lions' top 2 backs combined for 90-plus targets each of those 3 years as well. So passing to the running backs and giving the rock to the running backs. So if Swift takes the Gibbs role, like everyone thinks is going to happen, does that leave Roschon with the Monty role? If so, that's anywhere from 185 to 219 carries and anywhere from 24 to 38 targets. He's being drafted at RB 64 and overall 223rd in half PPR drafts.
Wow.
So again, he's not David Montgomery, but if he gets that amount of touches, does he warrant RB 64?
No way.
I don't think that. I'll take that productivity or that volume any day of the week.
Yeah, if you're telling me a running back is getting over 200 touches, yeah, I'm taking that any day of the week. Any day of the week. And if that pans out like your numbers bear and Ben Johnson uses him like, David Montgomery, then he's in line for that share. Because you're not he's one of those coaches that he goes with the 2-back system. And it worked well for Detroit. And what did he do in the offseason? He rebuilt, the offensive line in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely wanting to run the ball, and that's just his identity. So this is going to be interesting to see in terms of Roschon and what he does. Does he take on that David Montgomery role? And if so, what does that look like in terms of fantasy?
223rd overall. That's like 20th round, 19th round, if he's even getting drafted.
I was going to say, if there's a such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
RB 64.
Keep an eye on that one.
That's what? That's almost RB 6.
Yeah. No way he's an RB 6. Again, watched Chicago last Sunday night. They look good. They looked really good. They looked really polished. Caleb looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers looked good. The line was protecting everybody. So I think Ben Johnson's stumbled upon something. So Chicago's going to be an interesting team to watch for fantasy purposes, because they got a lot of skill players. I mean, we even talk about Burton. He had a good game. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the other cast of characters with Adunze and DJ Moore
and Loveland.
He looked good too. And then the other tight end, Komet.
Yeah.
So they're
a lot of weapons.
They're looking like Detroit Lions, but a little bit
2.0.
Exactly. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic, especially, we know what Ben Johnson can do with Detroit, and we've seen it in the one preseason game with Chicago, but is that going to be consistent, or are they going to run into some stumbling blocks because everybody's getting used to that specific style of offense? But if Roschon gets those touches, then he definitely warrants. I mean, he's a flex.
Mm-hmm. Add those amount of touches, he might be an RB2.
Borderline, yeah. Yep.
I mean, anybody would start David Montgomery any day of the week.
Exactly. No different here. If he gets the touches. Yep.
Right.
I like that
so
one.
Keenan Allen ends up in the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to move on from running backs. Your next pick.
Yeah.
Rookie wide receiver out of Los Angeles?
Yes, the Chargers. So we got Trey Harris, wide receiver number 101. We're in the hundreds now, Blake. 100. The latest of the lates of my picks. He's wide receiver 101. We know about Ladd McConkey. We know he's going to get his touches. But who else, Blake?
Keenan Allen.
Well, let me get to that.
Maybe.
Yep. So Josh Palmer, gone.
Yep.
Quentin Johnston has not lived up to the hype. Yeah, right. Stone hands, Butterfingers.
Yes.
You know, all the kids say Butterfingers. So he's the essence of Butterfingers. And Keenan Allen, he is back. You are correct, but he's old
How old?
and old enough to have some gray on that big old beard that he's got.
That's right.
So,
I'll have an age here in a minute.
yeah, but Trey Harris is an interesting potential guy in fantasy because after Lad McConkey, there's really nobody else. And I get Keenan Allen's there, but the kid's younger. He's got some speed. He's got an opportunity to play. And Harbaugh, from what I understand, just some of the research I've done, loves this kid. And you know how Jim Harbaugh is. When he's asphyxiated on somebody, he's gonna find a way to give him the ball, i.e. Lad McConkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Keenan Allen's 33.
Yeah, he's getting up.
He's
there.
over the wide receiver cliff.
He ain't no spring chicken.
32 is that wide receiver cliff. It's
Yep. So Trey Harris, folks, is another guy to keep an eye on. Wide receiver 101. And when you're drafted, obviously he's probably not going to get drafted. But again, he's one of those guys on the waiver wire that you definitely want to keep an eye on, especially the first couple games to see what type of touches and targets he gets in that offense, because we know it's predominantly run. We know what Lad's going to do. And I would imagine defenses should start to double him. And what does that do? That leaves somebody open. Somebody's got to be on one-on-one coverage. And he might be the beneficiary of Lad McConkey's success last year.
Mm-hmm. Drawing that attention.
Yeah.
And we know they like to they realize that a run first, run always offense doesn't work as well as they had planned. I know they brought in Hampton, but they started passing the ball around a lot last year.
Yep. Second half of the year, they were throwing that ball. Because
and it looked good.
Yeah. I mean, you got Justin Herbert.
No doubt.
There's no reason you shouldn't be throwing the ball. I mean, I get Harbaugh's philosophy, but he never had a quarterback at either. Well, he did in San Francisco, but not in Michigan, that can necessarily do what some of the things that Herbert could do. J.J. McCarthy is good, but he's not a Justin Herbert.
So, yeah, Trey can take over the Josh Palmer role without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And he made Josh Palmer look good, so he can make Trey look good.
Yes. Speaking of the Bills,
I know
I feel like this is your guy this year.
I mean, I had him in a previous segment, and yeah, I mean, Keon Coleman, even with the addition of Josh Palmer, I'm still a believer in Keon Coleman. I mean, just to recap a couple quick notes from the previous episode, he only played 13 games in 2024 and only had 29 receptions. 12 of those 29 went for 20 or more yards. He averaged 19.2 yards per reception, which was third in the league, and was a red zone weapon with 25 targets and an end zone threat with 8 targets, both of which led the Buffalo Bills. So entering 2025, still paired with Josh Allen. Great. He has shown big playability, after the catch dominance, and he's a trusted red zone threat. So he's competing for targets with Shakir, who's dealing with an ankle already, and Amari Cooper's replacement in Josh Palmer, which is clearly a downgrade for Amari Cooper. So I think he appears primed for a larger role in the offense. That's top 6 in points scored each of the last 5 seasons. The potential wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen is going wide receiver 51.
Ooh, that's steep.
Could you imagine getting the wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen?
So is he the lowest ranked? He has to be the lowest ranked wide receiver 1. I mean, I don't know who would be lower.
Well, I think Shakir is technically the wide receiver 1 for Buffalo.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of production, yeah, but I mean, they want Keon Coleman to be that guy.
I mean, they spent high draft capital on him.
Right. Yeah.
He dealt with an injury, and
I am interested to see how him and Josh Allen, especially early in the season, how they mesh, because that's going to tell a lot. And they, again, as I talked about, they need some explosiveness Shakir is great, middle of the field. He's quintessential slot receiver. Like, he gets over the middle, Josh Allen finds him, he does his thing. But they need some guy on that. They need somebody on the outside that can make plays. Josh Allen just throws the ball up and he can go get it. And Keon Coleman could and should be that dude this year for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
He's one of my guys.
He is your guy. We always have our guys. I think we both know who our guys are this year. So, but I don't see any reason why Keon Coleman can't hit 1,000 yards, maybe double-digit touchdowns in that offense with Josh Allen. Sky's the limit.
I will be reaching to take him and a couple of my guys to make sure I get him this year.
Reaching?
Yeah, reaching.
Define reaching.
A round early, maybe 2 rounds early.
Okay, I figured a round or 2 early.
Over ADP.
I don't consider that too bad.
No. It's not a unrealistic stretch.
Right. You just want him.
You just know that I'm going after him.
You heard it here first. If you're drafted with Blake in any fantasy league, he's going after Keon Coleman. Just telling you, folks.
I'm planting my flag.
Well, I think the lates went over well. I mean, we got some guys that are some guys you're probably not going to draft, but some of them you will. But there's some guys that could potentially, in the later part of the season, pay dividends.
Or late rounds that could pay dividends up front, like a Jerome Ford, and he might end up losing the role at some point to a younger running back. But if you can get a starting running back in the 12th, 13th round,
take him. 100%. Now we're going to get into our muddy backfields.
It's the Who You Got segment.
Who you got? So essentially, this is the classic running back by committee that everybody knows and everybody throws their hands up. Like, really, this team, why do we have 2 running backs? Who am I going to pick in fantasy? So that begs the question, Blake, who you got? Blake and I are going to give you some teams with split backfields, and we're going to give you the pros and cons for both. And we're going to make our pick on who we think you should take, Fanatics, in your draft if you have to decide between these split backfields.
First rep, right out of the gate, Cleveland Browns. You got 3 running backs technically. 2 technically, but
2.5.
Potentially 3?
Potentially 3.
In the mix. Yeah. You got Jerome Ford, which we've already touched on. Dylan Sampson. And then you've got Judkins, who out of Ohio State, but has had some issues and still hasn't. He's the last rookie that hasn't signed.
Crazy.
In all the NFL. So is he going to sign or not? We don't know. You've got Jerome Ford running. He's got the most experience, 3 seasons, 1,390 yards and a 4.4 yard per carry average. He's been a quality backup. He's been a quality starter, but he's been on a team that's not very good. And he's always competed with Nick Chubb, who up until last year was one of the purest runners in the NFL, if not the purest. Entered Dylan Sampson, led the SEC in rushing last year.
That's something.
He's a player.
Something.
Yeah.
Doing something. Yeah.
And then we all saw what Judkins did at Ohio State. Probably the most talented, but his legal issues, dismissed or not, really have impacted his NFL career to date. I have a feeling that he's not going to sign, and he probably won't play in the NFL until 2026.
Wow. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It doesn't happen often. But my gut says he's probably not going to play in the NFL in 2026. He's going to have to clear his name. Then when he plays, he's going to be a player.
Exactly. All right, Blake.
You got anything to add on that?
Have any what?
Anything to add on any of those 3?
I
mean, you know college ball better than I do. So Dylan Sampson and Judkins.
Listen, at the end of the day, you're leading the SEC in rushing. You're doing something. I had a chance to watch Dylan Sampson a couple times. He's got all the makeup for a starting running back in the NFL. It's just he's a rookie, and rookie running backs do have that learning curve because they're not just running; they're pass blocking. And I think that's always been the caveat with rookie running backs coming into the NFL. Of course, you can give them the ball and they can run all day. But can they pick up protections? Can they slide this way? Can they slide that way? Can they catch out of the backfield? I think Sampson can do all of that. But, again, he's a rookie. So again, with Ford's experience and Junkins' legal issues that have not been resolved, it this is. I mean, I know where I'm going. Who you got, Blake? I know who
So,
you got. I mean, let's be
yeah,
honest.
I've already made this clear because so in some cases where like last year with the Bengals, Zach Moss was going what, 5th round?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Then you had his backup in Chase Brown, backup, going 8th, 9th, 10th round. That's a significant drop. And if you see something with the 8th, 9th, 10th round guy, that's worth waiting and investing elsewhere. In this case, Jerome Ford's going so far down. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer to lean forward and take advantage of him while you have him. He might not be the overall long-term play like last year even. Early on, though, he's going to get the lion's share, the bulk, and he might be RB2, RB3 up until Sampson gets up to speed.
Mm-hmm. So we're going Jerome Ford.
That's my pick.
Gotcha. Hey, that makes sense.
Where are you leaning? Are you with me?
Oh, I'm totally with you. Yeah,
Okay.
no question. Listen. If Cleveland, if they didn't have Ford, it would obviously be a totally different story. But they do. He's got the experience. He's played for that team. He knows the team. He knows the protections. He knows the ins and outs. And he knows the offense. I think again that rookie learning curve is something that is vastly underrated. So it makes sense for Cleveland to play it safe, regardless of how much talent Sampson has, and play Jerome Ford. No question.
Okay.
Yes.
One down.
All right, folks. I am tackling the Denver Broncos. Oh, Sean Payton. Oh, this guy.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. So, man, let me clear my throat because there's 4 running backs I got to talk about in this thing. So, in Denver, they have an interesting dilemma at running back. I'm going to go over all 4 running backs and make the case for 2.5 of them. So I'm going to start with J.K. Dobbins. Most of you know he was playing with the Chargers last year. Well, was acquired in the offseason by the Broncos. This will be his essentially first full year from the Achilles injury that he had with Baltimore. And last year, in kind of limited duty, he ran for 905 yards and averaged 4.6 a carry. So pretty good on a Achilles that probably wasn't 100% healed, or he was 100% back from, and in an offense that, let's be honest, people knew they were going to run the ball. And they had Gus Edwards as well, meaning the Chargers. So that's the case for Dobbins. Acquired, which means if you're acquiring a running back, he's probably going to play. And when he's played, Dobbins has done well. 4.6 is a great average for a running back. The next running back is Jaleel McLaughlin. I will have to give a shout out to him because he did go to Youngstown State. Go Mighty Penguins. So that's my hometown. Go to Penguins. He's a running back, can do it all. He can catch, run, but he's a real small guy, Blake. Small. And could that small frame hold up over the course of a long NFL season? I'm not sure. Next running back is Estime.
Audric, baby.
Audric. And I don't believe he will make any noise in this running backfield. So I think he's the odd man out, if you're asking me.
So he's part of the 1.5 that you weren't accounting for?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Now we're getting to the kind of juicy guy. He's the new shiny toy that Sean Payton has, and that's RJ Harvey. This rookie's making an impact early. He's been running with the first team. I believe he started with the first team in the last preseason game, and he's the guy with the juice. He's the guy that's got the young legs. He's the guy that comes out for college and is ready to go. Now, typically, Sean Payton is really wishy-washy when it comes to running backs. Like, you never know. He goes with the guy with the hot hand, and I don't blame him. But that does us no good in fantasy, Blake. Can't go with the guy in the hot. We need consistency, and you don't get that from Sean Payton. At least you didn't last year when they had 5 million running backs play. So, with all that being said, Blake, I got both JK and RJ, who will get the lion's share of the carries, knowing that Sean Payton's history is one to ride the hot hand. Now, I don't know what the breakout's going to be. I have to think that RJ is probably going to get more carries, but I don't think it's going to be that much difference between RJ and JK.
This is probably one that I avoid.
Yeah?
I don't think I play this backfield at all.
Are we pulling your hair out? What hair you have left?
Easy, my friend, easy. I just don't like not
consistency.
There is just too much going on.
Oh, I just named 4 running backs. Yeah,
I know, and he's used all of them. Meaning the 2 that are remaining from last year's team were involved with Javonte Williams, and then he brings in 2 new ones. So he brought in 2 guys. Usually the guy they draft, it's their guy.
Mm-hmm.
He brought in 2.
Right. So
who's
the guy?
I would pick one of the 2, RJ or J.K. Dobbins. Probably J.K. because I'm guessing he's going later in drafts. And if I'm looking at this situation, I think they're both flex worthy at best because it's going to be a split backfield and riding the hot hand. So I will take the lower of the 2.
Okay, so you're taking JK.
Yep.
Oof. Yeah, you're right, man. This is a mess. Sean Payton. I always tend to go with the rookies, so I'm going to disagree with you.
The young legs.
I'm going to take the young legs. The guy that has not been hurt. I'm always good. In this instance with these backfields, give me the young guy unless there's some markedly difference between the production of the older guy and maybe some question marks about the young guy in terms of what other things they can do or maybe they can't do. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But I would agree with you. I would stay away from it if I could. If you can help it, stay away from it.
There are other backfields I'd rather invest in the split. Yeah. And I'll just avoid that one.
Speaking of invested in split, we do have another backfield that a lot of people are going to be invested in down in Florida.
Yep. So with Jacksonville, I still struggle, and it's because, man, I was ETN tried and true. I loved ETN, and then he burnt me. And I'm not so sure that Tank Bigsby is the guy either. This is another one of those scenarios that neither of them played well at all last year. Tank had a glimpse. ETN, not so much. Then they bring in Tootin.
Yeah.
Bashal Tootin.
Yeah.
I'm probably butchering that name, out of Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of talk about him being the guy this year even. And I don't know too much about him, but another backfield with 3 backs that are heavily being considered. I mean, last year, Tank had his glimpse of glory, the last part of 24, to the tune of 766 yards, averaging 4.6 yards per carry. How, though, is Cohen going to use him in this offense? Last year, he had 2 backs.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he's got 2, maybe 3 backs. It's hard to decipher. Is Tank, because Tank's not really, his name doesn't fit. He's not a tank. He's not a power runner.
No, he's got some wheels.
He does.
He's a big guy, but he's got some wheels, yeah.
So maybe he's in the Rachaad White category. Maybe Bucky. I really don't know, but ETN seems more like the Bucky Irving to me. But if ETN plays at all like he did last year, I don't care what role he's in. He was not good.
No.
So for me, this is another one that I'm avoiding.
Not touching at all?
I really don't want to.
Oh, you've been burned. You got burned real good, didn't you?
I did. Think Austin Eckler.
Yeah. Well,
done with him.
Well, you might not be. Well, slow down, my
I
friend.
know.
Slow down.
Is
Slow
Washington on the list?
down. They should be.
They should be.
As of a couple nights ago, but maybe we'll discuss that with our rankings. But to your point, Liam Cohen had Rashard White and Bucky Irvin. So
Mhm.
this is what I'm comparing these guys to, with Tank being Rashard and ETN being Bucky. And if ETN is Bucky, I have to believe that Liam Cohen wants to get him the ball in space and have him make plays. I get it. Last year, he was drafted high. He burned a lot of people. That was last year. I think this. If I'm a betting man, I'm going with ETN. Even though last year he was awful.
Yet neither running back was brought in, drafted by Cohen.
Correct.
So he doesn't have any skin in the game for either. So he's going to play the better of the backs. Where last year everyone was like, "Oh, Tank, they brought in Tank."
But he also has to play the guy that best fits his offensive style,
For sure.
which would most likely be ETN
If he's fitting the Bucky role.
if he's fitting the Bucky role. We're not saying he's Bucky, but he has Bucky tendencies. He was Bucky maybe before Bucky. But,
OG.
yeah, but he did not perform like Bucky last year, so therefore it's tough.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I would go ETN, even though I've been burned.
Yes, that's all I wanted to hear. We're good. We're good. All right, we're gonna move on. Oh no, another just Minnesota. What the heck? I don't know what they're doing either.
Brought in Jordan Mason
Yeah.
after a great year by Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Aaron Jones had a great year. He had 1,100 yards, 4.5 average. Now you got to remember, like, the days of getting running backs getting 16, 1,700 yards are just done because everybody's passing the ball. So 1,100 to probably 14, 1,500 is a solid year for a running back. And Aaron Jones had that. But here comes Mason, a free agent signing from the Niners, who had almost 800 yards last year in only 12 games, Blake. And, he filled in for CMC and played well until he got hurt. Again, when the team signs someone in free agency, that means something, especially a running back, because you can go out and get running backs off the street in the 7th round, 6th round, whatever. Clearly, they saw something they like in Jordan Mason, and they brought him in to compete with Aaron Jones. Who knows how this is going to shake out? Again, I think Aaron Jones is a great back, but clearly they wanted someone to split the carries with them. And if you're asking me who I got, I think it's going to be a 60-40 split, with Jones getting the majority of those carries and Mason getting the rest. But again, do I want to touch this one? Honestly, I'd rather touch Jacksonville than this one.
Okay. I would have to go the other direction. I would rather touch this one than the other one.
Okay.
I think Aaron Jones is a bust.
Oh.
As pointed out in our bust episode.
Sure. Jordan Mason's
he had a career season, 255 carries, over 1,100 yards. He's 31. He's over that cliff number. They paid to bring in Jordan Mason, and they paid him a pretty penny. And at a minimum, I think Jordan Mason is a real threat to all of the red zone work that Aaron Jones would get. I don't know how they're going to treat the run game this year with having a new quarterback under center, but I will take the later pick and Jones without question. Or I'm sorry, Mason without question.
So you're saying 60-40 Mason, maybe more?
It might even be 40-60. Okay. In Jones, I would rather have Mason. I think he's going to get the goal line work. And if he gets 40% of the touches and all the goal line work,
you're good.
Being such less draft capital, I'm all in.
Okay. Again, this one, I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't have any rhyme or reason. It just doesn't sit well with me. So But your reason, it makes sense in terms of goal line carries for Mason.
And he's the younger back, more fresher legs.
Jones works between the 20s, and Mason does gets the glory.
Mm-hmm.
Just I.e. Sean Green from the Jets. Remember that name? Oh my
no,
God.
I don't.
Touchdown vulture. Oh man, to take touchdowns away.
I hate to say it, but I don't remember that name, Jason.
That's okay. I'm an encyclopedia, buddy. They all just stick up here.
I think
do we even know what an encyclopedia is? I've dated myself now.
I actually Jonah got an encyclopedia something for his birthday one year, and it sat unopened. And I threw it on Marketplace like 2 months ago for nothing. And it's still sitting on Marketplace. I'm going to donate it to Goodwill.
They got something called Google now. So bye-bye encyclopedias.
Right.
There you go.
This next backfield, though, this one's a much easier one, in my opinion.
Oh, slam dunk.
The Patriots backfield with Henderson and Stevenson. We both agreed that Henderson was a breakout this year. We don't really need to cover too much here. Looking, like you said, comps to Cincinnati Bengals of 2024. You got Zach Moss and you got Chase Brown.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that everyone's like, ugh, in Zach Moss / Ramondre Stevenson, to the Chase Brown, the electric, younger, fresh legs, big play maker in Chase Brown / Travion Henderson.
Easy.
I mean, you said it best. He's the most talked about non-QB 2025 preseason.
Mm-hmm.
That return on the kick return, first play, says it all.
That's all you needed to see. 100 yards, folks.
And Mike Vrabel, he likes to run a single back.
He'll run the ball.
And if Henderson gets a shot, Stevenson's not going to be back on the field.
No.
Or if Stevenson starts fumbling, he's not going to be back on the field.
And he's been known to do that.
He has.
And that's one thing. I'd have to go back. I don't know what Travion's stats were at Ohio State, but I don't believe that was one of his MOs in terms of giving up the ball. But we know Stevenson has been, let's just say, very generous with the ball over a number of years.
So in this case, I don't. So even Stevenson has injury concerns too.
Oh yeah.
So one bumper bruise that takes him out, and I don't think he's going to get a shot at taking over the backfield again. I don't think Henderson's going to come off.
No, I think Vrabel will appease him because he's a veteran. But listen, at the end of the day, these coaches got to win. And what does a coach do, Blake? You're a coach. You always say, what do you say? Put your best 11 on the field.
Yes, you do.
And you can't tell me Henderson is not one of the best 11 offensive players for the New England Patriots who don't have any explosiveness in the backfield. None. Gibson, I mean, he's an older third down back. That doesn't count.
All right, so we got one more left.
That's an easy one. Man, I get the more interesting one. So we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Jaylen Warren and Caleb Johnson. Now, we did have Najee Harris, but Najee has moved on to the LA Chargers. So now Warren is for sure the number one running back in Pittsburgh up to this point. Can he hold off the rookie? And if so, for how long? Because Pittsburgh, Arthur Smith, what do they like to do? They like to run the ball. There's no question. Jaylen Warren can do it all. He can catch, he can run, and most importantly, he can pass block for Old Man Rodgers. That's going to be my nickname for him moving forward. Old Man Rodgers. So we know what Jaylen Warren can do because we've seen it. Caleb Johnson is kind of a mystery. I did watch some Iowa games begrudgingly because their offense was very, very pedestrian, to say the least. I'll give him credit. That's probably an overstatement. He does remind me a lot of Najee Harris in terms of the size and speed. And to your point, I believe you made that in the last episode or 2 episodes ago. He's going to get carries. Somebody's got to pick up the slack for Najee. The issue is, can he pass block for old man Rodgers? And if he can't, he ain't going to be in there. That's just a fact. Like, you're not going to put your quarterback in harm's way just because your rookie running back doesn't know the protections. I think early on, I think he doesn't play as much as he probably should. As he gets more comfortable as the season goes on, I think he starts to eat away at those carries for Warren. If Warren can stay healthy, if Warren gets hurt, then obviously he's in. But I think initially Jaylen Warren is going to be the guy. But I think eventually Caleb Johnson will be the guy that gets the Najee Harris carries, and then more importantly, the goal line stuff as well.
So this is almost an even draft position. You've got Jaylen Warren at 31, RB 31, and Caleb Johnson at RB 28.
Has it ever been that close? I mean, that's rare.
That is super close.
Yeah, for running back by committee. One is usually head and shoulders over the other one, and then the other one is kind of, at the lower rung.
Wow. I think last year we didn't see it in the draft, but we saw it in rankings on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. You saw Najee and Jaylen Warren like
neck and neck,
back and forth. Who is the lead back depending on how the previous week went?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's playing a role in how the ADP is going here. I think Warren is proven, and if he's lower draft capital and he's proven, I think he's the guy you take with the expectation that it's not going to be his full backfield, and it's going to become a very 50-50 split sooner than later.
Right.
But he's less draft capital, and he's up front. If he has a blow-up game, you could sell high.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget the PPR. I mean, he's going to catch some passes out of the backfield. And we don't know if Caleb Johnson will even be in on third down. We know he's probably going to get goal line carries, and we know Warren is going to get passing attempts via the running back position. So that makes for an interesting dilemma if you're in fantasy. So who would I take? I like your pick with Warren, just because we know what we're getting out of him. And he's been consistent over the last 2 years. I mean, he was a solid flex for me last year. Mm-hmm. Solid flex. Now,
and he's explosive.
Right. Now, Caleb Johnson, he has some upside, but will we get to see that upside early, or are we just going to start to sprinkle him in as the season goes on? He has to play.
Jaylen Warren's proven he's not a workhorse back.
Right.
Even when Najee was out, banged up, they brought in the next guy.
Yep.
And had a split backfield. So I'm confident Caleb Johnson very early on is going to get carries.
Yep. Just a matter of how much.
And I think it'll grow as the season goes, as it becomes more comfortable. Rookies tend to have a learning curve, a slow start.
Always.
Especially at the running back position. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, but I would stay away. I go Warren.
I hear you. I would do the same. Well, that's the muddy backfields. I tell you what, muddy's probably not a strong enough word. Just it's a mess, some of these backfields. But hey, in fantasy, as Blake said, if you pick the right guy, you could be sitting pretty. If you pick the wrong guy, well, you might not be doing so well.
Well, we still have a handful of backfields that we could touch on at some point. Maybe we do that. We got Tennessee, Seattle, Chargers, Detroit, Houston, Chicago, Arizona, Washington. These are all additional split backfields.
Yeah, we're talking.
That's a whole other episode.
We're talking a third of the teams in the NFL have some type of, split backfield. Right. Maybe half?
14 teams we have listed.
Wow. So way more than that. Almost
half.
Almost half the league. Wow.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, that is good stuff. Blake, what's
Jason,
coming up? What's coming up next, buddy?
rankings, baby.
Not in this episode, but in the next episode, we got the rankings coming out. Our much anticipated, much controversial rankings between Blake and I. Blake will have his rankings. I'll have my rankings. We're going to differ. We're going to agree. But you know what? We're going to talk about it. We're going to make our case for why we want or have said person ranked at this position.
I've
So
already
what's up?
passed mine out to a few people. I've been pinged for drafts on, hey, can you send me your ranking list?
There we go. There we go. I can't wait to this. This was always a good one because invariably there's going to be someone we don't agree on, and there's going to be a big gap, and we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to make
A
our case.
la Anthony Richardson.
All right. So, as Blake said, the next episode, we got our Sunday Fun Day guys rankings.
Part one.
Part one for quarterback and running back.
Hopefully running backs if we can squeeze it in. Those are big ranking lists.
Those are big ranking lists. But nonetheless, we're going to give you rankings for obviously quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end.
Yes, sir.
Whether that be 2 episodes or maybe even 2.5. We'll see. Because we got a lot to cover. And we want to get you guys all the information so you can be informed when you're heading to your draft. So with that being said, Blake, how are the socials looking these days? There's an uptick in the socials now. We got some people.
Join us on our fantasy football advice Facebook group.
Love it.
Lots of good conversations going back and forth. It's not super in depth yet. It's not a huge group, but it's growing little by little. Questions being asked, draft positions, who would you risk, funny posts being made. So head on over to it's Fantasy Football Advice, and it's a Facebook group. So join us there, and then, continue to follow us on Facebook as our Sunday Fun Day guys, Instagram, YouTube. And then when it comes to these podcasts, share them with a buddy who's not in your league, and give us a like and a review if you would.
Yeah, I've shared it with a buddy in Dallas. I've shared it with a couple other people, and I've shared it with a guy at the gym, and it's wicked early, and we're talking fantasy football. So we must be doing something right, buddy. Because if we're talking fantasy at the crack of dawn at 6 a.m, hey, we got to be doing pretty good for ourselves.
Well, hopefully we have some championship feedback coming in at the end of this season.
Well, let's hope so.
So we're doing good for others too.
Exactly. Well, folks, that's a wrap for this edition of the Sunday Fun Day Guys Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Jason, and there's my tag team partner, Blake. And remember, make this Sunday your fun day. Sunday Fun Day Guys out.